Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so talk a little bit about Chicago and Milwaukee. That score was 111 81, the largest playoff deficit, playoff loss, home loss. Let's just be clear. In franchise history for the Chicago Bulls, they've never lost by more than 30 points in a playoff game at home. Look, there's a lot of things you could point out in this game, but the thing that stood out for me was something that I don't know if too many people are really going to look at off rip, and that is five fast break points. Five fast break points. Now, I know that they got Giannis down there to deal with, got Brook Lopez down there to deal with. A lot of the time, it seemed like the Milwaukee Bucks were just kind of dealing with, you know, lineups that were just too big for them. You know what I mean? I think that's what Milwaukee's adjustment was tonight, was to just overwhelm the Bulls with so much size to start the game. They put Portis out there, they put Giannis out there, they put I think it was Wesley Matthews, um, Brook Lopez, and Drew Holiday. And when you have a lineup like that, the adjustment is so serious, because even though Middleton is a long player, versatile, can do a lot of things, he ain't massive like that. You're not dealing with basically three power forwards in the lineup. So we talked about versatility a lot these playoffs on this channel, and you're seeing what the Bucks can truly do with their roster. And I will admit, I have underestimated what their bench would be able to do for them, and some of the type of talent that they could kind of lean um, uh, on the back of that bench. At the end of the day, I put more of an emphasis on 12-man, 16-man lineups than I think most of the league does. And the reality is, if you have about good 9 guys in rotation, you can get away with a basketball game. 8 guys, heck, you can get away with it. And I think when you look at what the Bucks have, Bobby Portis being able to go tonight, since he was questionable, was a big deal. He had 16 rebounds, I think 18 points. That was huge, absolutely massive for that team. So considering the fact that he was playing, I didn't have that worked into my equation. That was a plus, to say the least. Grayson Allen, I said it would be very smart for Coach to call his number tonight. He had a huge game, and there's a lot to be said about that. We will get into it, because I got a whole spiel, but I think Grayson Allen needs to be commended quite a bit for what he was able to accomplish out there tonight. They called his number, and he was great. DeMar DeRozan, a lot has been said about superstars not taking shots. Karl Towns only attempted 4 shots in a playoff game yesterday. We've seen a lot of issues. This was yet another one of those. You need more attempts. It's that simple. You cannot have so few attempts if you're DeMar DeRozan. You need to be able to put up more shots. You need to be able to get out in that open court, grab some rim, get to the line, something. There has to be more from DeMar DeRozan in a playoff game at home. No excuses, period. He needs to play better in the next game. Two out of these 3 games in these playoffs, he hasn't played well. Game 1, he didn't really play that great. Game 2, he was amazing. Game 3, he didn't play that great. There needs to be some consistency here. He's been one of the best players all year long. He's going to have to continue to play the way he's played all year long in order for this Bulls team to win this series, or even have a chance at winning games in this series. Let's just be clear. They got a game. They should have been able to put up a better fight, or at least some fight tonight. To get blown out by 30 when they have a whole I wouldn't say superstar, but he's somewhere in there. Chris Middleton, we're missing from the lineup. I mean, that's just unacceptable. Unacceptable performance. And this is what I want to say about the Grayson Allen thing. I didn't get a chance to see this game in its entirety. The link I had didn't have the greatest, audio, so I wasn't able to really capture the crowd. I'm pretty sure they gave Grayson some boos. It didn't sound like they were hitting him with too many boos, but judging by just the atmosphere, I can imagine it was bad. So I'm gonna just assume that he heard his share. It wasn't no Boston and Kyrie, LeBron coming back the first time to Cleveland type energy, but I'm sure they gave him hell. But I just did not see no real urgency from the Bulls. Now, granted, they were out schemed. They had a lot to deal with. You know, Budenholzer started with that big lineup. I want to preface that. A lot had to do with how smothering that Milwaukee defense was, and they were smothering. But I just didn't see no fight out of Chicago, man. The urgency necessary. I look over at Pat Williams, a young fella there, relying on a young guy. Might as well be his rookie seasons because he didn't play much of his first season, and he's been missing for a good 90% of this season. So this is really the first real basketball he's getting of the year. So I'm not going to get on his case. But 0 for 9, you know, that's something that the coach will have to put a stop to. Those are 9 possessions that they need back. You know, and against the champs in a playoff game, the kid may go 0 for 9. But once he goes 0 for 5, he needs to be sat. And I know you need him for defensive purposes, so I'm not sitting here saying that's an easy decision or that was, and I get it. But, yeah, you got to stop a kid from shooting once he gets to that point in a playoff game. If this is a regular season, all right, whatever. It's regular season. And I get it. He didn't get a regular season. It's not part of the problem here. The issue is just this is your playoff game. You're fighting for your life here. And you just can't have players shooting that cold. That just can't happen. Period. So, yeah. And as far as, you know, the double back on the Grayson Allen thing, I just didn't see enough fight from the team. You know, you got a guy coming in. You know for a fact that he hurt one of your best players in Alex Caruso. Now, some think that was deliberate. Other people don't. I don't know. I'm not here to argue that today. That's another conversation. You want to know what my opinion was, you can go back. I made 2 videos on that when it happened. But my thing is right now is, okay, he comes in and just murders y'all. He hit 3 straight threes, was getting plays all left and right, scoring the ball, doing things to help his team. And it didn't seem like the Bulls were offended by his presence at all. And I don't know how to feel about that if I'm a Bulls fan. Now, granted, AC's a player you just got. You know, he's more so somebody that Laker fans, you know, appreciate more so than probably you guys do. He's just a guy you just got. So for us, we're looking at Grayson Allen a certain way because we have love for AC that spans, you know, time. Got a championship with him and everything. So it's really us that feels the offense in a way, if that makes any sense. But to me, it just seemed like, you know, he was out there a little too comfortable. Grayson Allen was out there a little too comfortable. This is a playoff game. He hurt your mans. He found himself in a situation where he was able to get more playing time because one of his mans was out, right? Middleton went down, so he's getting more playing time just by default. And then comes in and just is one of the plays the most efficient game possible. I mean, granted, a lot of that has to do with just him being a player who's worked on his craft, knows who he is, and can, you know, come in ready to go, which is a testament to just him as an athlete. Give him his credit all the way. But you look at the defense of the Bulls and say, where's y'all pride, man? Where's y'all self-respect? How y'all let this happen? There is no way in hell any of the teams that I've ever rooted for that were worth a damn thing would let him do all of that to Alex Caruso, to our guy, and then have him come in on it and have the game of his life in a playoff game in our house, and not walk away at least with a bloody lip or something. Said something. Did you guys at least cuss at him? Did you look at him funny? I mean, god dang. I'm just sitting there like, am I the only person offended by this guy being on this floor? I feel like I'm the only person. You know, like literally. I felt watching the game, I just felt like this is about the most, like if I'm AC, I'm like, man, let me get up out of Chicago, man. I ain't got nobody really give a damn about me here, bro. Because if they did, there's no way he gonna be able to have this type of game in this building, in this situation. No way. No way. So I just want to throw that out there. This is not like this is Kevin Durant, you know, or Kobe Bryant or somebody that you know you ain't gonna be able to stop no matter what. Let's just keep it real. And I know that's kind of ironic because KD's struggling, but you know what I'm trying to say. This Grayson Allen's not somebody that you shouldn't be able to stop. And for him to have the type of night he had, when y'all had even less to defend, even less to worry about with Middleton not being on the floor, it should have been less likely for him to have the type of game he had. Very disappointed in the Bulls tonight. Very, very, very disappointed. I'm not going to sit here and say they don't bounce back from that, but I'm damn certain they're not winning this series. They ain't going to win the series. For one, Milwaukee is showing you that they can morph into whatever they need to. Just like a lot of the good teams in this league. You know, they change form if they need to. And they did that in the second quarter, too. After they had that big lineup on the floor, they immediately swapped out and put a bunch of smaller guys on the floor. It's just, you know, Budenholzer and his schemes. I told you guys in previous videos about the Bucks that he's a fantastic playoff coach because he will throw different schemes at you to throw you off. He'll do different things that are unorthodox, and he'll find himself with an advantage because of it over time throughout the series. So I've learned to trust his moves and the things that he's done. He strategizes in doing. I thought pressing the Bobby Portis button tonight was excellent, especially given the fact that he was considered questionable. You didn't know how to scheme, whether or not he would be playing and what role he would be having. Putting him in that starting lineup was a monkey wrench. Because if I was trying to scheme against you guys, I would have had a problem with that because I would have certainly been ready for him to come off the bench, or some variation of a different type of lineup. So that's what you love about these good teams. So as far as the Bulls are concerned, once again, I didn't see a whole lot. Like I said, the game didn't really cross my radar because it was just a bad score from the jump. But Zach LaVine, you know, I just don't know. You know, Kobe White. You know, I just didn't see. I don't think those guys really gave it what they needed to give it tonight in terms of this being their first home playoff game with the Bulls. You know, these guys have been with this team for a little while now. They know what this moment means. You would think that it would just be more aggression, I think is what the word I would be looking for. Even if you don't play smarter, play harder. Even if you don't have it in you to do everything you need to do. Push people around, man. Make it seem as if you remember Grayson did that. That's what I want to say. I didn't feel like Chicago made the Bucks feel that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't. It was like it was fine. Like, hey, go ahead and do it again. We good. That's the vibe I got from y'all. And if that's the vibe I got from y'all, then that's probably the vibe the Bucks got from y'all, and they're gonna steamroll you because of it. So I you know, it just is what it is. I don't like being a flip-flopper. Before this game, I felt very confident that the Bulls had a stranglehold on being able to at least get this particular game because Middleton's out, etc., etc. But after this game ended, now I'm back on the Bucks train, thinking that my pick was good, in picking them in 6 because. Or 5, whatever I picked them in, picking them to win the series because the Bucks just basically have the ability to do whatever they need to do to become unguardable for this team. Even if they're missing players, they could still become unguardable. Now, the only thing I would tell the Bucks is this: do it again. Do it again. If Grayson Allen can be that efficient again, if you can get 16 boards out of Bobby Portis again, if your defense can look that good and your offense can look as good as they did without Middleton again, I'll be a believer. But this could have been a fluke. I just want to toss that out there because as far as I can tell, the matchups still don't necessarily favor the Bucks at all. They don't. What you saw was them push all of what they had to the front of the line, basically. All of them, the best talent that they have left, they shoved it into their starting lineup, and it just so happened to be those big players with that big lineup. But the truth is, they just played all their best players. Bobby Portis, you know what I'm saying? And they threw Wesley Matthews in there because he's been playing such fantastic defense for them lately, and they're really thin. And they knew they can bring their bench strength forward with Grayson Allen. You know what I mean? They can definitely have Grayson Allen step up and still give them some strength. Because if they would have started Grayson Allen, started Bobby Portis, I don't know what type of bench they would have had tonight. So I just thought they arranged it well. I thought you know, Budenholzer won that coaching battle for sure. And Chicago's just really wet the bed, man. I just, you know, I'm trying not to overstate the thought, but I'm very disappointed. I guess is what it is. I'm just very disappointed. I was really expecting Chicago to make me look good today. I sat up here for a good 15 minutes and explained to all y'all why I thought Chicago can now take advantage of what I thought was a very serious removal from the Bucks lineup. And it is. On paper, the Bulls should be really doing good things right now. But if you can't get nothing out of Zach LaVine, you can't get nothing out of DeMar DeRozan. Ayo Dosunmu's shooting a very poor percentage, and Patrick Williams can't hit a shot. Yeah, you'll get blown out. You're gonna get blown out. And Grayson Allen, meanwhile, scoring like a madman. Like I said, Bobby Porter's playing great. Brook Lopez also continuing to play fantastic. That 3-point shot I was telling y'all about, he hit it. He hit it there. He has to continue to be as big and play as big as he's been playing. Because the thing about Brook Lopez and everybody who's had him on their team knows this is he's really imposing. Like, he is an imposing player. He may not be fast. He may have some of his deficiencies, rebounding and stuff like that, but he's super dominant because he really does shoot the ball extremely well from behind the arc. And in the paint, he cannot be stopped at all. He's never been someone who can be stopped in the paint. Even when he was with the Brooklyn Nets way back in the day, that was where he made his money. He just had post moves, and his huge size just allows him to just get easy buckets. And his touch and his talent, he can just score all night in the paint. So if he's a threat in the paint and he's wet from behind the arc, he's unguardable. So you're dealing with two monsters out there, in him and Giannis, just off rip. So that's too much size for Chicago. I don't know what's going on with Vucevic. We've talked a lot about him lately. I'm pretty damn certain they're going to be trading him. That's just makes sense to me. And I'm pretty sure the Bulls are going home in this series, man. I am. I'm pretty sure they're going home in this series. Like I said, the matchups don't favor them, but the Bucks are going to continue to strategize with that big lineup, and they're going to have to find an answer for it. And I don't know that they are. Do we get another big game out of DeMar DeRozan? I expect him to play very well at some point in time, but he's running out of games. We're 2-1 now. You can't do this every other game thing. Especially if Zach LaVine's not going to be reliable. You can't do this every other game thing. You have to play very well. Alex Caruso played well. He filled up the box score, did what he usually does. AC is extremely consistent, and he's always going to help you in multiple areas. So where he's not doing this, he'll do that, and that. So he's always going to have a good game. But shooters need to be able to hit shots. Coaches need to be able to pull cold players off the floor or reel them in and get them to do things that they're not doing. And I just felt like Chicago did none of that. And that's why they had the worst home playoff loss in the history of their franchise. So that should never have happened. That should never have happened. But scratch that away. Give congratulations to the Bucks. Big win for their franchise. Obviously, they must feel fantastic about what they can do for themselves. And extending this series is a very good thing for them for a multitude of reasons, including it prolonging the process of how long Middleton can rest between the next series. Obviously, he's going to rest regardless, but at least you can make sure that series doesn't start anytime soon. That's basically what I'm saying. So that's a good thing. Good thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, Chicago should find a way to take advantage of the strengths that they have. They still do have the scoring advantage if they can find a way to get their scorers to score again. And, I don't expect Patrick Williams to go 0 for 10 again, but I also hope that the coach doesn't bench him entirely because of it, because if he does that, they don't have enough size to even stay in front of Giannis. So you got to play the kid. You just got to get him into a position where he's grabbing rim instead of shooting jumpers or whatever. So, yeah, a couple back cuts, a couple easy buckets for him. things driving at the basket, that's the way to go. So, yeah, that's what I got to say, man. I'm pretty sure there's more to say. Like I said, I didn't watch this game, but there was a lot to it because I just thought that they didn't avenge AC at all tonight, and I was very disappointed about that. So, yeah, Grayson Allen gets the game ball just off the strength of coming into that very tough environment, knowing all that had to come with it, knowing the chatter that was around his name, probably expecting bad vibes and maybe even a flagrant foul thrown his way or two, and still came in there and carved him up. You know, he was ice cold. He didn't care nothing about the moment. He didn't care nothing about what people thought or anything. He just came in, helped his team win, and walked out of there in a humble way. So, you know, you can take your hat off to a guy in a playoff situation. That's just what it is. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching.